talking in front of everybody and singing is two totally different things. First, I want to honor my pastor and pastor's wife. I've grown up in a pastor's home, but I've never had pastors quite like y'all. So thank you for loving little old me. A lot of you who know me know that I live every day with a disease that takes a toll on me every single day, and my family knows that more than anybody. I told myself I wasn't going to cry. In 2018, I was rushed to the Children's Hospital in Dallas by my mom because we had went for my 16-year checkup, and they told my mom, "We think your daughter is a type 1 diabetic." Now, mind you, they went back. Both my mom and my dad had blood tests, and there's been no diabetes on either side of my family. So this was a whole new challenge we were all walking through together. Well, when I walked in to the hospital, they had a whole staff right there at the doors waiting for me. And come to find out, they thought I was coming by ambulance, but I wasn't. My mom was like, "No, I can take her." We get there, and they have me hooked up to all sorts of things, and they're not really answering any questions. My mom is asking, but they don't know. They think I have diabetes, but they don't know. Within a 12-hour period, I was bedridden. They had taken so much blood from me I could barely move. There was running tests. The doctor came in that evening, and by this point, all of my family was in the room with me, and the doctor looked at my mom and my dad and asked if they had noticed any differences in me in the last few months, and they said yes, but we just thought it was teenage growth spurts. But long story short, the doctor told my parents that they had asked them if I had any recent surgeries in the last few months, and my mom said yes. I had just had oral surgery to get my wisdom teeth out, and the doctor told my mom that I should never have woken up from that surgery. And when he told my mom that, of course she's bawling her eyes out because she feels like it's her fault. I'm crying, everybody's crying, and he said, "I have never, in my years of being a doctor," and he was an older man, "seen a 16-year-old diabetic walk herself into this hospital with numbers and blood work as high as hers." And I remember weeks and months after my diagnosis and being the only one that I knew of that had diabetes, my family living with that, nobody understood. I felt so alone. I personally think I went through a little bit of depression, and I'm going to be honest, I hated God. I kept asking the question, why me? And I still sometimes ask myself that question. But I've come to find out through the Bible that he never puts anything on us that we can't handle. It was a very hard thing to come to terms with, but here I am, and because of him, I was able to have a full life and get married and move here to this amazing church and have a beautiful baby boy. And I am just so thankful that he saw fit to keep me here, because I probably would not be here without him today. So I just want to leave you all with this. The Bible says he doesn't put anything upon us that we can't handle. And a few years later, I was actually prophesied over by my brother-in-law's grandparents who live in Cleveland that I was going to be healed. And before the flooring was laid, we came in here, and Pastor had everybody right on where we would stand, what we would pray for at this church. And Natalie wrote where the keyboard was that this is how I fight my battles. And right where the drum cage is, in big, bold, black Sharpie, I said, "My healing will happen." And every time I stand up here and sing, sometimes I'm just going through the motions, and I feel like, when is it going to happen for me? And then I remember he doesn't put anything upon us that we can't handle. And every time I stand on this platform and I get to worship and sing to my amazing God, I remember leaning on my knees and praying over where I wrote that. And I cannot wait for that day to come, but if it doesn't happen, he's still faithful.